all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning. Listen in over the next few minutes to find out everything that you need to know to stay ahead of the curve this Thursday. I'm Alex Matthew and this is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint. Today is the 9th of April. The number of coronavirus infections reported continues to balloon in India. It took 2 months for India to reach the 1,000 mark, and now in just the past 10 days, the number has grown to 5,274. That's still a very small percentage of the global number of 1.5 million infected, though. Global deaths have now risen to 83,500 as New York and the UK had their deadliest days so far. In India, some have suggested that the number of infections might actually be higher than reported because of the pace of testing. The Supreme Court, in fact, stepped in yesterday to order that all tests for COVID-19, whether at a government or a private lab, should be free of cost. In Mumbai, there are fears that the pathogen will spread through Dharavi. Last week, the area recorded its first case, and now there are 13. Reacting to the rise in the number of infections, the municipal corporation in Mumbai, as well as the government in New Delhi, have ordered people to wear masks if they have to step out of home for any reason. The BMC went so far as to say that those stepping out without masks would face arrest. Homemade masks will also be allowed in this case. In a bid to provide relief to companies and individuals during the ongoing pandemic, the government will fast-track all pending income tax, GST and customs refunds worth about 18,000 crore rupees. According to a Ministry of Finance statement, all pending income tax refunds of up to 5 lakh rupees to businesses and individuals will be released immediately. The move is set to benefit 14 lakh taxpayers. Here's the latest globally when it comes to the virus. Anthony Fauci, who is the director of the US National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, said the start of a turnaround in the fight against the virus could come after this week as President Donald Trump's top health advisors develop medical criteria for reopening the US economy. The UK and Belgium had their deadliest days of the outbreak so far, and Spain reported fatalities and new cases rising to the highest in 4 days. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson is stable and responding to treatment at a London hospital. Meanwhile, oil held on to gains despite a record build-up in weekly US crude inventories as the world's top producers continued to discuss potential output cuts. Algeria confirmed that the OPEC Plus emergency meeting scheduled for today will discuss an output cut of 10 million barrels per day. A spokesperson for the Russian Energy Ministry said that the nation will commit to cuts based on its proportion of the total production. Sticking with news on oil, India, according to a Bloomberg report, is set to buy millions of barrels of Middle East crude for its strategic reserves. While India's storage capacity is relatively small, the purchases are an important sign that major consuming countries are trying to play their part in rebalancing the oil market. China said earlier this month that it would start buying up oil for its emergency reserves. In international markets, stocks in the US gained further. The three averages gained between 2.5 and 3.5%. In the Asia-Pacific region, it's a bit of a mixed start. The Nikkei 225 has started flat, with the other two early risers having started positive. And with that, it's over to Agam Vakil for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Agam. How are we looking on the last trading day of the week?
Good morning, Alex, and good morning, listeners. The SGX Nifty Futures is indicating a higher opening this morning, and this comes on the back of the fact that foreign investors bought into Indian equities yesterday for the second straight day on a net basis. Moving on to stocks, we have Hindalco, which was in focus after its US-based subsidiary Novelis Corp secured final approval from the European Commission for the sale of Aleris Corp's aluminium production plant in Duffel, Belgium, to the Liberty House Group, the company said in its website. In more quarterly updates, we have Titan Company, which expects its revenues to contract in the fourth quarter as the lockdown in March wiped off all the gains made by India's largest branded jewelry maker in the previous months of January and February. Sales from its jewelry segment, which account for 80% of the consolidated revenue, declined 5% year-on-year in the quarter. Watches segment, on the other hand, grew just 1%. FMCG major Marico has also come out with a quarterly update, and it says it expects low single-digit decline in its domestic volumes for the quarter ending March, as business was disrupted on the back of the novel coronavirus outbreak and a subsequent national lockdown. The company's brand Sephora did well, but Parachute and value-added hair oils saw weakness in the quarter. Then we have the Reserve Bank of India, which has asked HDFC Bank to put on hold the appointments of Shashidhar Jagdishan and Bhavesh Javeri as additional director and executive director, respectively. Gujarat Pipavav Port saw its cargo volume handled decline 10% at around 197,000 TEUs in the March quarter. And IDBI Bank has its board approved a rupee bond borrowing limit of 7,500 crores for the fiscal of 2021. Moving on to an interesting bulk deal, we have Anumudi Real Estate, which has acquired 0.6% stake in Soba Developers at 169 rupees per share. Remember, Anumudi Real Estate is a promoter entity of Godrej Group. And finally, in some interesting meetings, we have Mahindra & Mahindra, who will meet Nomura Securities and BlackRock today, and the management of Affle will meet Matthews Asia, Helios Capital Management and Malabar Investments today as well. Now, these are just some of the stocks that we can watch out for as we move into trade today, but don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQuint.com.
Thanks, Agam. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day and stay safe.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Pesa Vesa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.